What are your thoughts on the carnivore trend? This is JJ Virgin, four-time New York Times bestselling author, celebrity nutrition expert, and fitness Hall of Famer. I've been on a lifelong quest for answers to the toughest health questions. And now I'm sharing what I found with you. Welcome to Ask the Health Expert. Deanna Rothar from Facebook asks, what are your thoughts on the carnivore trend? And she puts in parentheses, with clean proteins. Well, I do have some thoughts. Stay tuned and I'll be sharing them with you. All right, my thoughts on the carnivore trend. So what's interesting is we look at all of these diets. First of all, let's be honest. There is no one diet that's right for everybody because you got a whole lot of stuff going on. You have your genetics, you have your lifestyle, you have your preferences, you have your goals, and you have your health history. What are you working on overcoming? So we got to take those into account. And what will you be willing to do, right? And next piece of that is, what are some of these different diets? And I always like to look at diet trends and go, what is that here that is interesting and important and a takeaway for all of us? So I was on this show called TLC's Freaky Eaters. And Freaky Eaters was a show, kind of was like Hoarders meets My Strange Addiction. And it was about people who are addicted to a specific type of food. And they would they didn't care about their health, their family, their finances. They were going to eat that food, seek that food out. And we had everything from a woman addicted to cornstarch, another guy addicted to maple syrup, another woman addicted to tartar sauce. We had two guys who would only eat meat. And one specifically would only eat raw meat. Now, what was interesting about both of these guys, when I looked at their labs, because one of the things we did was we did a bunch of lab testing to see what was going on. And I did lab tests and stool tests. I had both of those done on these guys that we looked at. And what was interesting is their labs looked amazing. Like they looked incredible. They had incredible blood sugar balance, insulin sensitivity. Their cholesterol profile looked great. Like everything looked really good. Now, they were also young, so they had that in their favor. But there's a couple things that I would look at as positives here, and then I would say yes and to it. First of all, remember you are what you eat, and you are what you ate. So the important thing to think about in the carnivore trend and eating animals in general is that if you are choosing to eat animals, eat clean. Because if your animals are eating crappy stuff, you're eating crappy stuff. If the animals are getting antibiotics, you're getting antibiotics. If the animals are stressed out, you're stressed out, right? You're getting the stress hormones. So we want to eat clean, happy, low stress animals and fish, etc. So that's the first thing is, and I'm glad that Deanna, so smart, said with clean proteins, is you want to eat clean. Now, the next thing is when you look at the carnivore trend, there's something really important here. They're not just eating chicken breast. They're not just eating like a filet. They're eating hoof to head, right? So they're eating organ meats, brains, eyeballs, skin, all of it. Yep. You might be going, no, thank you. But that's, if you're going to be doing the carnivore trend, if you're following that diet, that's what you need to do. And reality is, these are some amazingly nutrient-dense foods. So if you can get them clean, because remember, especially liver is an amazingly nutrient-dense food. However, it has to be clean. It's a filter. So if you're eating liver from an animal that was a factory animal, fed GMO corn and soy, shot up with hormones, fed pesticides to the GMO corn and soy, and given antibiotics, we got a problem. So that's the big thing here is what I would take from the carnivore trend. Eat clean. You are what you eat. Eat more of the animal. Eat more of the organ meats that are clean. Now I'm saying that, and here, full disclosure, ew. I just don't like the texture. However, there's a lot to be said to eating more of this. I think the interesting thing here would be to look at a diet where people are eating more of the animal along with plants with a lot of fiber, because that's what I worry about. When you're doing the carnivore trend, you're going to get great healthy fats, you're going to get clean protein. But where I worry about is the lack of fiber that's so important for good elimination, detoxification, regularity, right? So I'd love to see taking this diet and going, okay, let's add in some alkalinizing plants, loads of deep green leafies and broccoli and cauliflower. Let's add in that. And then let's add in, along with that, maybe some additional fiber from things like wild rice or legumes, nuts, seeds. And then I think you could have a very interesting experiment going on. But again, key takeaway, clean. You are what you ate, and eat more of it. There you go. This is JJ with Ask the Health Expert. I do this 5 times a week, so make sure you never miss a show by going to subscribetojj.com.